Well, it looks like Pete Alonso won't be back with the New York Mets after all. So the Mets just recently offered Pete Alonso a 3-year contract ranging between $68 to $70 million, and Pete Alonso and Scott Boras decided to turn it down. And I guess because Pete just feels he deserves more with the Mets. So I think the Mets have done everything they could at this point, and it seems as though they are going to part ways with him. But I mean, you know what? Anything can happen. Pete Alonso, maybe if he doesn't like what he gets from these other teams, he might come back with the Mets. I have no clue. It's really hard to tell what to believe, but I do think this is true because this has been going on way too long. He was offered a 7-year contract back in the end of 2023 for 7 years, $158 million, and Pete Alonso still took that down. Why? Because I guess he thinks he's the best player in the league. He must think he's above Aaron Judge. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to be a crap on Pete Alonso, but it's just getting frustrating. I mean, I'm sick of going on social media all the time, reading the comments. We got to keep Pete Alonso. We got to keep Pete Alonso. We got to keep Pete Alonso. He has an incredible fan base. I don't think I've ever seen any Met player with this much support from fans. And no matter how many times he strikes out at every ball that hits the dirt, we still have to keep Pete Alonso because he's on the verge of breaking all-time Mets record. Yes, the guy can hit. He has power. He can make some really kick-ass home runs and gets the crowd wild. I mean, he does bring a different vibe. And I mean, sometimes he's a little strange too. But to any Met fan and all these sports analysts out there that are constantly preaching he's on the verge of making an all-time Mets record, beating all the greats, could potentially lead the most home runs in Mets history, that's more important than winning a World Series. It just feels like that way. I mean, yeah, that's great, but for someone like me that hasn't seen a Mets win a World Series, I want to see that happen. I really don't care less about records breaking in the clubhouse at this point. I want to see a championship trophy. In my opinion, the last 2 years, he has declined. He hasn't really pulled through the team when needed, except, of course, when he did that miraculous home run in the wild card.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Frelick back at the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
Yes, that was great. He did a fantastic job right there. It was beautiful. It was an incredible moment, but it just doesn't hide the fact how he has performed the last 2 years. And maybe I get where Pete Alonso's coming from. I mean, let's put it this way. He has been on this team for a long time. He's a homegrown Met, and he is surrounded by players now who are getting a bigger pay than he is. Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, and now newcomer on the Mets, Juan Soto. Yes, Juan Soto's been in the league, but this is his first time in the Mets club. So I'm sure that hurts Pete a little bit, seeing a guy such as Juan Soto getting this big of a deal, this mega $1 million deal. And I think that's going to change now the face of baseball and this whole free agency and all these opt-outs and everything. I mean, let's take Brandon Nimmo, for example. He got a long-term contract for over $150 million because he did well 2022, the year before his free agency. He did really well, and he earned it. And the problem with Pete, in this world of sports, you have not really progressed. You didn't make over 50 home runs the last 2 years. And maybe if you did, the Mets would have kept him. But what I don't understand too, he really hurt himself because you got offered $158 million for 7 years. What is it that you have to prove? That was a great contract, and you should have took it right then and there. You should have taken it. And honestly, he's probably kicking himself for it. He will probably regret that for the rest of his career. But for someone such as Steve Cohen, who has so much money, yeah, he could probably spend $200 million on Pete Alonso, but I don't really think he shouldn't. I don't think Steve Cohen wants to do that. I don't even think David Stern wants to, because I really don't think he's worth that kind of money. I'd rather have him spend on a bullpen, which that was one of the issues we had last season, and that needs to be fixed, which I think they're doing that right now, and let's keep fixing it. Let's keep making it better. Let's have a great team this season. Yes, it would have been nice if Pete Alonso was with the Mets this season. Absolutely, it'd be great to see him with that lineup. It would be like the Avengers. But this is the game. So thank you for watching this video, and if you're new to the channel, click to subscribe.